A lot of times that actually turns into work for you. We started doing this and literally almost 1 out of every 10 calls turned into clients. So it's day 2 of the Digital Summit, going back there. For everyone that I met, it was an honor meeting all of you, and thanks for coming up and saying that we helped you. That's why we do what we do. One of the things that I watched last night was Jeff Bezos, obviously of Amazon. It's really a small startup. And so I watched this video. Amazon's whole focus is around 3 things to their success. And I just wanted to share them with you because I thought that could actually help. So one of the takeaways that I got from Jeff was they're customer centric. At the core, they are customer centric. So they are just totally focused on their customer versus service or product centric, right? Or competitor centric. And we just obsess over them of what they actually need. Not necessarily what they want. Kind of goes back to, Steve Jobs. He says, how does someone know if they need something if they've never even seen it? And that leads me to the second thing that Jeff talked about was really innovation and how do I constantly innovate? And then the last one is all around thinking long term. They literally plan out 3 to 5 years, which I think is really good. So when someone comes up to them and says, Jeff, man, you had a great quarter, he's like, well, that was already kind of seeded and prepared 3 years ago. And that just really got me. I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. But I am thinking long term. I mean, that's why I'm doing this vlog. I mean, there might only be 100 people watch this vlog in the next month. Totally fine with that. That's the same thing that happened with my podcast 3 years ago. I thought long term. I knew I needed to keep with it. I knew this was innovative and I needed to do it. So think long term. So to recap, be customer centric, innovate, and long term. All right, so let's go to the Q&A.
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions.
All right, my question is, how do you recommend an agency go about learning an industry's problem and challenges? What did you do and what did you wish you actually did? Going out and asking the client or the customer is usually the best. And you can do this a number of different ways. In the past, what I've done is done surveys. Now, I'm not just talking about email surveys, literally picking up the phone, going out to the conferences where your clients and your customers are. Now, here's the deal. You have to be specific at who you're going after. And I think that's in your question, you're talking about being specific. So go up to them and ask them what their biggest challenges are. And just think about all the questions you're asking in kind of the pre-qualification or even in the sales conversations that you have. And go through your notes and see what the common theme is. You'll literally start seeing all the dots and then you just need to connect them. The other way you can do surveys is, you can email that out. You can have a particular person. You can hire a person at a low salary or low hourly rate to call up and ask people what their biggest challenges are. Now, when we did this in the past and we'd physically call people and say, hey, I just wanted 2 minutes of your time. We're calling to do a little bit of research in this particular industry just to see what your biggest challenges are in marketing and really where you see the future of what you guys are going to be doing in marketing is. And the cool thing is, especially if you do it, a lot of times you'll find out they'll be like, so tell me, Jason, what do you do? And we're like, oh, we're a marketing agency that actually is specializing in this market. We just wanted to understand it a little bit better. And a lot of times that actually turns into work for you. We started doing this and literally almost 1 out of every 10 calls turned into clients. I mean, it was unbelievable because we had a targeted list. We were calling them. We identified that they had a problem and then they started asking us to help them. That's the biggest thing is identify the biggest problems that they have by asking them. Don't try to guess, ask them. And then literally start studying the market and looking at what they're all doing on social media, look at what they're doing on the websites, because they may not know they're doing something wrong. Pick out a common theme and you're like, oh my God, they're all doing this. They need to go through, they need to do something different. and I need to let them know. So the best way to do research and identify is to call them and to actually do research. It is actually hard work to do this, but it will pay off and you'll separate yourself. It just takes time in order to do this. It goes back to what I talked about, the lessons from Jeff Bezos. Be client-centric, innovate, and think long-term, and you'll do amazing.
So just met a really cool person that I've been looking up to for a while online, and they're really personable online. They'll respond to you, all that kind of stuff. But then when you meet that person in person, it was like totally opposite. Maybe I caught them on the wrong day. No, I'm not going to tell you who it is. But the lesson here is it takes a lot of time to build your brand, build up your reputation, build trust, but it takes 2 seconds to tear it all down.
So if you liked this, make sure you comment below, and I want to hear your questions. If you want to be focused on one of our daily Q&As, make sure you comment below. And also, if you're not subscribed, I'm watching you. Make sure you subscribe on the bottom right. Click on that little logo because you don't want to miss out. I got a lot of cool stuff planned.